All right, we're in focus. You see my cup? That is Robo Cup, and it's the best coffee mug I've ever had in my life. Hey there, welcome everyone. This is week 4, video 5 of the MyPet starting a business, documenting the process YouTube channel extravaganza. My name's Doug. I'm the owner of MyPet. And this week, there's been a handful of things that have happened that I think would be worth documenting. And let's just get into it. So, last week was a productive week, very behind the scenes, which seems to be kind of the consistency the last couple weeks. First couple weeks felt very front-facing, like front of house. And the last couple weeks have felt very background, sort of behind the scenes, like kind of stuff. Mainly involving retail, which we're not really a retail business. We're an online business. But when you start off and you're trying to get people to see what you've got, you have to kind of do it in a couple different ways. You have to advertise, which can get expensive. Part of my logic here was with retail, we can set up a process where, yes, you're not going to leave with a MyPet tag. You're going to, there's going to be a display at the store, and you're going to go, wow, look, that looks awesome. I'd like to buy one. So you go up to the counter, and you would say you'd like to buy one, and what they'll explain is that, no problem, that's fantastic. Which color would you like? And they run through the process of buying. You purchase it. You spend, the $29.99 plus tax, and the store will have an online form that you can fill out right there on the spot, or you'll get like a business card that says, congratulations, you've purchased a tag, and go to this specific URL and enter your information. At that time, when the information is submitted, I'll get the order, and I will ship it and print it just like if it was online. So, unfortunately, yes, you cannot buy the product and take it home and put it on your pet immediately, but it's the same thing as the website, except that you can see the thing in person, and you might come across it organically and go, wow, what's that? And then, of course, you can kind of make the purchase. Some people like seeing things in person, so that's a plus. And also, let's say we're at a pet store, and you're getting X amount of customers walking in that store, so you're going to have all this potential for people to see your product for the first time in a storefront. Just like people stumble on us online, they stumble on us on Instagram. It's just another way to get people to be familiar with your product. They can go in the store, they can see it, and they might go to our website later and buy it. Point is that it's just another avenue to get your product on, people eyeballs on your product. So what that kind of led to was there's obviously issues that come along with that. And the main point of what I think I want to say that I learned this past week is this kind of this lesson of shit's gonna happen. Bad stuff's gonna come across your plate. It's inevitable. It's life. It's degrees of bad. You've got some things that aren't horrible, but they kind of are, it's a rock in your shoe. And other things are a little more dynamic and a little more difficult to manage. However, it's how you handle those things that determine whether you will become successful or not. I'm finding out. For example, let's say I'm starting a brand new business, not MyPet, but something else. And I've done this before. Maybe I've become successful at doing this. And I go into the situation and it's like, you know what? We're saying this thing's going to take 4 months. It might take 8. And you go in knowing that this is going to take twice as long. It's going to have bumps in the road that you can't foresee, but you're planning for those issues to come across your plate. You're going to be much better prepared to be successful than the guy who says, we're going to knock this out in 4 months. I know it. It is what it is. It's going to be fantastic. And then every single issue you come across during that time, you will take a lot more personal. You will take it a lot more to heart, and you will not get through it as well. The perspective you have is probably wrong. The approach is wrong. You're in traffic, and you can't turn around. You're going straight. It is what it is. There's 20 cars in front of you. No one's moving. You're in that traffic jam no matter if you're pissed and angry and frustrated and screaming at everyone, or if you can understand that, look, this happens from time to time. just relax. Maybe you have a busy life. It's the only 20 minutes you get where you don't have to do anything. It's about the approach you take. And mind you, there's been a handful of these things that have happened in the last week, and my first reaction on some of them was very much zen and like, we'll be cool, this is fine. And others, you have to really try to work through and get to that point where you can kind of laugh it off. If you do the things that are setting you up for success, you know, you're working and you're doing things towards your goal, you're productive, baby steps, anything that is forwarding you in the process of business is a positive thing. Regardless if it ends up being a waste of time because of something else that comes across your plate that you couldn't have foreseen, it doesn't mean that it wasn't productive, because it's the habits that'll get you successful. It's the consistency. It's all these things that are really easy to forget. And mind you, I'm saying this to the camera because I'm having a hard time with it. As a documentation process of it's not easy, but it's the way to do it. Great example is we have an opportunity with a storefront. It's a little different than the retail one, where we're going to basically have essentially an iPad on a kiosk type format where you can purchase the tags just like you would online, except it'll be on the kiosk at a location. And I had an iPad that was given to me through a friend. Great, I appreciate it. It was awesome. However, it ended up being the wrong iPad, and it wasn't really anything I could have foreseen. Logic dictates it would have been fine. It would have worked perfectly, but two things happened. Number one, it didn't fit in the kiosk because it was for an iPad 2 and above, and I thought it was at least an iPad 2. And number two, if I would have known that earlier, I would have just ordered an iPad 2 through some other means. I wasted a week and a half of my time, like, arguably, like, not wasted. Of course, like, I appreciate the process and the iPad that I did get. You know, all the pieces were in play for a successful outcome, yet these roadblocks came across my path. Now, I could say that I wasted a week and a half of my time, or I can still know that I will get to the end game. I will get there. And I can be frustrated or upset, or I can just accept it and move forward. It doesn't do me any good to complain and bitch and moan about what didn't happen, because technically it's not anyone's specific fault. Now, if I did something intentionally wrong, obviously that's a problem. I need to fix it. But situational things like this are going to happen a lot. And it's how you handle the process that's going to dictate your success. And I think in a nutshell, this week, I have learned that at least every day, at least one time. Multiple times in certain days, because a lot of stuff when you're dealing with like the back end of things, you know, you go to a store and you see all the presentation they want you to see, but when you go in the back room, that's where you see, you know, the inventory and how everything's kind of being taken care of. And, you know, we shipped orders for the first time, and going through that process, you learn a lot, and you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna do things 10 times slower than it should be. It's okay. It's all good. That's the truth of it. That's the moral of this week's sort of video, is that if you're putting in the effort and you're doing things with the right intentions and you're patient and you do the work and you put the time in, blah, 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 X, Y, and Z, that success will find level, and you're going to go through issues and things, and it's going to happen, and it's just how you deal with it. And that's going to be, I think that's going to be enough for this week. I think that's the, you know, back to RoboCup. There it is. Anyway, all right, I'm out of here. See you next week. Be patient. Take your time. Put the work in. Have a cup of coffee. I'll see you next week. All right, later.